The one mold making mistake that everybody makes, even I do. Hey guys, welcome to Making Things with Milo. We're here with Bill from Punish Props.
Hey,
Did I get that right?
Yes.
Okay, good. So we have Bill in-house here at smoothon, and we want to ask Bill some questions to share with you, some information that Bill has experienced in his creative journey that I think is going to be beneficial to hear and talk about.
Sure.
So, let's just jump into it.
Let's do it.
All right, so I want to ask you a little bit about your background. Like,
sure.
How did you get into this industry, business? What did you study?
So I went to school for computer art, actually,
Okay.
3D modeling, animation, that sort of thing. I've never done that as a job.
Okay, all right, nothing wrong with that.
Life's journey takes you on many paths, and mine took me into cosplay.
Okay.
So my friends got me into making costumes, going to events. We have some fun ones out in Seattle where I live. And that led to making stuff, posting it on the internet, and having strangers say, hey, I want one.
Okay.
Can you make one for me?
Okay.
And that's how I got into molding and casting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I know that, I mean, I work with a lot of interesting people here at smoothon, and we have a lot of different backgrounds that it's great when it comes together. You share a lot of knowledge, so it's, I think, always neat to hear what other makers, where they come from, how did they get where they are, and their journeys along
Sure.
the way.
Like you worked in a metal foundry.
Right.
Yeah, that's quite an experience.
Actually, that's where I learned my mold making.
Yeah.
I had a great teacher there, Miguel Angelo, interesting name. Yeah, I was literally tossed to him as a help, and they say, you're going to help him from now on, and he showed me the ropes, and I kind of picked it up, and actually some of the tips and tricks that I show in these videos, I learned from him. So
Awesome.
This is great when you can pass on that knowledge that you learned from others. Keeping track of pot life and cure times. So as you know, these materials have a pot life and a cure time. Some people refer to it as working time, and that's the time that you have when you combine the A and B together, right? So why is that timing important to you?
So depending on the mold you're using, it may be a really quick pour, and you have a lot of time to work with it. Or maybe you have to pour a lot of material, and it's going to take a lot longer. So like a giant space rifle or something. So knowing that ahead of time, so you can order the right material, that gives you enough time to do the actual pour. I have had castings where you're pouring it into the mold, and it literally cures coming out of the cup.
Right.
And you let go, and the cup's just sort of floating there. And fortunately, we usually keep a couple of different resins around if we can. And if that happens, I'll go to a quicker setting one. Or take the jugs and put them in the fridge for a little bit so they get a little chilly. And that'll extend how long it takes to
Cut. No, I actually did hear people doing that. My take on it is you're messing with the chemistry's ability to work the way it's supposed to. So I usually don't recommend that, but I've heard of people doing it.
Sure. The people I got that advice from, people who work in Hollywood, when they're like, this is the material we have, and this is how much time we have. And when those two things are incompatible, you've got to get creative.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so knowing the material is key. So understanding that a cooler material will slow down the cure is important, while if it's hot in the shop,
It'll go a lot faster, yeah.
right, the material, again, might solidify in the pour, or just create cold shuts and not capture that detail in your model. Not performing a small-scale test. So when you making a large sculpture of something and you are working with different materials.
Or a new material that you're not experienced with.
Do you perform a small-scale test before you, let's say, start a mold that's 7 foot tall?
Yeah, or like a giant space rifle or something.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
Don't jump the gun here. No pun intended.
But so I have a ton of little molds that, like if you have extra silicone for making a mold, grab something, put clay around it, and just pour silicone over it, just to have like a greebly or something that you could cast into. So I have all these little molds, and if I have a new material I'm working with, I can use one of those to test it, get used to it, understand its properties before, again, moving on to mixing up, a gallon of stuff and dumping it into a mold.
Okay. Using the wrong mix ratio. Have you experienced issues with dispensing the wrong mix ratio when it's a 2-to-1 versus a 1-to-1?
Yeah.
When do you usually see the results of that issue?
That's the most embarrassing too, when it's supposed to be 1-to-1, really dead simple, and you goof it up. And I've totally done it before, both molding and casting.
Okay.
But yeah, if you pour silicone or resin or whatever, and it's just not curing in the time it said it was supposed to cure, there's a pretty good chance you got the ratio wrong.
Have you ever had castings that look good, but then when you handle them, they're brittle or they're the wrong color or they're just goopy and not fully cured?
Yeah, I did. So I was casting a rifle from StarCraft, and I think it was like Smoothcast 300, which is white, and I put So Strong black in it. So the casting should have been gray.
Right.
Should have been gray. But it was black when I pulled it out. It was still black and a little spongy, and it was leaching stuff out of it. And I thought, maybe if I just leave it for a day or two, or a week or two, or a month later, and it would still look the same, right? And it was still a little flexible.
So can I take a guess here?
Yeah.
Too much pigment?
I think I actually did like 2 parts of B to 1 part A or something like that.
Okay.
I could have put too much pigment in as well, but after the fact, I checked the cups, and yeah, I had done 2-to-1 instead of 1-to-1.
Okay, so this is something that you would hear one of us asking our customers on the phone. If you call tech support and we ask you a bunch of questions, we want to discover, we want to know what went wrong so that you don't make the same mistake. And backtracking your own work progress is a great way to discover where it went wrong. So again, you don't make the same mistake again.
Sure. It's easy to find those mistakes if you, like me, record all of your work on video form.
You can go back and
look,
actually see it.
Oh, look at me doing it wrong. Oh.
Well, I do have to admit, I don't record everything I do here. And sometimes it's weird. I will be sitting at home and realize that I've done a mistake, and it will plague me the whole night.
Yeah.
And plague me in my dreams.
The next day you're going to open that mold, and there's just going to be a disaster waiting for you.
Yeah, you come back to work and you just clean everything up and pretend like nothing happened. Fix it. If you can, fix it.
Yeah.
If you don't know how to, give me a call. I'll help you out with that. Not keeping the end result in mind. So this is where I will reference to your mold, and I will actually bring it over here.
Fantastic.
So that we can talk about it a little bit.
Do we need 2 people? It's big.
We'll get a forklift. So when you are creating a project, you want to think about what you're creating, right? Am I making a statue that's supposed to be lightweight, or is it supposed to be representing real metal and be heavy?
Here, why don't we grab the...
Part of that, yep, thank you for the mold. You know what, I'm not even going to handle that. My back's hurting. Same thing goes for your mold. You want to think about the end result that you're trying to create. So when you're creating your mold, you should give some thought as far as, do I have to handle this mold? Is it going to be handled by hand or machine? Is it easy to open up, demold, stuff like that. So why don't you tell us a little bit about this mold that you put together here?
So this is for the District 9 rifle. We did a collaboration between smoothon and Tested and Punished Props almost 10 years ago.
Yes.
And this is actually my first matrix mold.
Okay.
And I'm still quite proud of how it turned out. It is a little pointy. I think I would do that a little differently nowadays.
Cheese shredder.
The main consideration here, so this was something I was planning to carry around at a convention.
Okay.
So weight should be your primary concern if you're going to carry it. You want it to be as light as possible.
The mold or the casting?
The casting.
Right.
But the mold, to make it light, to make the casting light, the mold has to be rotocast in some way. And if you don't have a big machine to do it, which I don't, you should think about how you're going to suspend this thing, twist it around with extra liquid weight in it for 5 to 10 minutes.
Yes.
And that's something I didn't consider until the time came to actually have to cast parts out of it.
Do you know how I knew that you didn't consider it?
How did you know?
Because I had to handle your mold.
Yeah.
I had to actually cast into it,
Yeah.
and I found it a bit difficult.
It's unwieldy, it's pointy.
I found it a little sharp and pointy.
Yeah.
I lost 2 fingers on it.
So when I cast the first copy out of this, we were in a hurry. A common trend for molding and casting mistakes is being in a hurry. But a friend of mine and I just stood face to face, holding the mold, spinning it.
Okay, so you had a technique down.
If you could call it that. And in 3 minutes into that, it was unbearable. It was so heavy. You might pick up a thing and like, I can lift this, but can you do this for a while?
Right.
So our subsequent castings, what I ended up doing is putting a strap on either side of this and suspending it from the ceiling. So that held most of the weight.
Okay.
And then we opened the mold before we cast it, and we did the sides. We poured a little bit of resin on each side and tried to brush it up on the sides if we could a little bit. Then we closed it, hung it from the ceiling, poured in some more resin, closed up the ends, and then we could just spin it without having to lift all of the weight.
Okay.
Still not a perfect solution, and if I was designing it again from scratch, I would do it a lot differently.
All right, let's talk about mold making mistake number 1. The one mold making mistake that everybody makes, even I do. Rushing.
Yeah.
So
This is I'm impatient, and I'm working on it, but I'm impatient. And
well, that doesn't solve your problem.
no, it doesn't. I'm still impatient. Yeah, I see hands getting waved back there. So pretty much every mistake I've made comes back to that, right? I'm in a hurry.
Okay.
Again, you have less time than you need to make the thing. Usually it's because my fault, didn't plan ahead of time. And then you hurry and you get a disaster. And what always happens too is it takes twice as long. It ends up taking twice as long because you have to do it again.
So one thing I keep hearing in our conversation here that comes up frequently is understanding the process ahead, understanding the challenge, the material that you're working with, and then taking your time not to rush through the process so that you do get a good result the first go around. All right, so that's a really good tip there that I think all of us should
Keep
really
working on.
listen to and keep working on. And I do have to admit, I am just as guilty of that. We have a dozen projects going at a time, and whenever I find myself rushing through this, there's a mistake, and just like Bill said, it ends up taking twice as long.
And costing more too.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Take your time. And I'm telling myself, Bill, take your time.
all right, so there you have it. I want to thank Bill here for coming out here today with us and sharing this information. I think this is really helpful, not only to makers like us, but also to you guys watching and creating stuff at home.
Yeah.
So thanks again for coming.
You bet. Thanks for having me.
Guys, check out Bill's videos as well.
Great.
He has a great channel on YouTube that I myself follow and learn a lot from.
Awesome. And we just filmed a casting mistakes video, the two of us, and that'll be over on the Punish Props Academy channel.
There you
We'll have
go.
a link, probably share a link in the description so you can go check it out.
So check out the links down below. If you have questions, let us know down in the comments below. If you think that we can improve in a certain way, let us know. We're always about making these things to help you guys out. So.
You can also share any of your casting disaster stories. Those will be fun to read, and they'll make me feel better about myself.
Yes, thank you. Bill has experienced a lot of things in his creation journey, yeah. And you guys want to see us double mix some material? Because, hey, I love to mix more material on camera. Sorry, do you hear something in the background? From nowhere. It's Bill and Milo. Bill and Milo's adventures. Mold on, Bill.
I can.
Punish Props Academy.
Yeah. From the top.
Just to plug,
Sure, fine, no problem. I got it. Okay, no problem.
get it right.
Are we ready? Can we record? Is this take? Okay.